guys. My name is Therese Laxon, and I'm from The Beat. I am very excited to speak with you guys today. I'm in love with this movie. It is so freaking cute, and it just hit me on multiple levels, you know, made me laugh, made me cry. So I love the character design in the movie. What was the best and maybe the worst character for you guys to animate?
Oh, that's a great question. The worst character? Oh, I don't know if there's a worst character.
Maybe the most challenging?
The challenging is probably the red panda. Anytime you deal with characters with a lot of fur, there could be a lot of crashing with the geometry in the character, so you just got to be careful about how much you exaggerate some of the poses sometimes. It could cause a lot of technical problems later on for rendering. But in terms of like favorite characters to animate, they were all super fun. They all just, each character had such fun, vibrant personalities. They were just all really exciting for me to animate.
I think for me, the difficult one would probably be the grandma, because she does so much with so little. So all these other characters, you get to push them, you get to exaggerate their expressions. But grandma, she's a very contained individual. So even just the slightest of eyebrow raises, says a lot for her. So you really have to be careful of how much you move her. For my favorite character is probably Tyler, maybe because it's just kind of funny to animate a character who's kind of a snot, kind of a snotty kid, and you don't really get too many of those characters to animate. So I really had a lot of fun animating him. I'm
so jealous, Bruce. I didn't get to animate Taylor.
He's a fun person.
I'd really love to know about working during the pandemic, if that was a big change for you guys, or was it just, every business as usual because you guys are working from computers?
I feel like it's definitely a challenge. I think, especially in the beginning when people who have kids who weren't going to daycare at the time, it definitely becomes a challenge where you're trying to animate with a toddler is crawling over your head. But in terms of meetings and all, it actually wasn't that bad transitioning over to just Zoom meetings now. So I think that part is, we can still have that collaboration process.
Yeah, especially not having to commute, saves a lot of time. And even like one thing that was not available to us before is, sometimes when you're just at home doing stuff, you would get this great idea and you're like, oh, if only I was at work at my computer, I could do this thing real quick. But being able to work at home, your computer's right there. So you can just hop on and, do a little quick notation for yourself to work on it later or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. And so you both have worked on multiple Pixar projects, and I really want to know what makes Turning Red stand out from your previous work. Is there anything you're particularly proud of, or something new you learned on this project?
For me, a couple things. First of all is the diversity aspect of it, being Canadian. I'm super proud of a movie is now made based off of Toronto, which is exactly where I'm from. I'm really excited about that, and just having the diversity, seeing people that look like you on film, whether it's animated or live action, just having that aspect, I think it's very important. And another thing is the style of animation, the sort of anime style we're going for. We haven't really done that at Pixar before, so that was a real challenge. And I think it's also that anime style is something I also grew up watching, so I was really excited to sort of put that style onto this film.
I love the anime eyes. Those are so cute.
Oh, yeah.
And Bruce, did you have anything?
Just same thing, growing up in the 80s and 90s, and all of those anime shows from back then kind of influenced me and her style for this show, especially shows like Rama. I grew up watching that and reading the comic books and just seeing like even some of the humor is not just the style of it, but the humor also is kind of from that period as well. And that just really spoke to me, and I find very, very heartwarming. And yeah, it was super relatable for me.
Mm-hmm. Did you have, I mean, obviously both of Asian descent. I was wondering, you know, working on this project, did you have any moments where you felt like, wow, this is finally something that feels very reflective of my own culture? Or were there things maybe that you wish like you could have added in that felt, you know, a little bit more true to what your experience is? I'd be curious to hear about that.
Yeah, for me, there's so many moments in the film that were very cultural accurate, like May and her mom praying at the temple to the ancestors. We had that in our house growing up in Asia. Them making dumplings together. That's like such a, you know, we do that every month at home with my mom. There's so many little things like that. I felt like they captured it so perfectly that I think, you know, Asian people can relate to.
Yeah, for me, the moment was when Mom Ming like comes into May's room holding a plate of fruit. Like that, I mean, growing up, my mom and dad always, as long as you're in your room studying, they're gonna be like, you're gonna need some food. And also, as soon as May comes home, the mom's already like, oh, are you hungry? Here's a plate of dumplings, or baos. And also, there was this sequence that was cut that was supposed to start the film, where Ming is like super tiger mom and just kind of very protective of May and kind of ordering other people around. That was super relatable to me too. Yeah, my mom's kind of got that, tiger mom streak in there.
I think we can all relate to the plate of fruit being brought to our rooms. I feel like that's like a little too relatable. And also I feel like that dumpling wrapping scene where her dad like looks at it to like make sure it's done right. And she's like, yes, like I've definitely been there. So I'm curious, when it comes to characters that maybe were cut, I know there was a lot that you guys had a lot of developed characters in development and some had to be cut out. Were there any that you really wanted to be put back into the movie, maybe if there was more time or maybe if there's like a follow-up movie or something like that?
I don't know if I can recall any characters being cut out, but actually that moment that Bruce mentioned in the beginning of the film, it was a really long 30-40 second scene where you see May and her mom together, and it really, I don't know if I can say why it was cut, but it really showed, it was a good example of the relationship. And there was a moment at the end of that shot where like May sits down and then pours tea for her mom. I'm like, that's also a very Asian thing to do. And unfortunately that got cut.
Yeah, the respect to your elders. Yeah.
We got a lot of that in this movie. It was very intense, and it was like, oh, this is my childhood. I really want to thank you guys for speaking with me. I really can't wait for people to see this movie. I feel like it like embodies so much that like I experienced, and also I feel like other immigrant kids have experienced over the years. So I thank you for talking with me, and I love the project. And yeah, have a nice day.
Thank you so much.